All right, so welcome to lab number 6A, where we're trying to mask some sensitive data using the possibilities given to us in Apigee, right? So for our purposes, let's go over to Apigee. We're going to create a new proxy. And the proxy name is going to be lab 6A -v1, and then we change the hyphen to a /. That's the backend. We're again going to use the http bin.org service that will return back whatever we sent it. Then let's develop. So let's say that we have a request that contains some variables that we are not happy with. Let's say that they're username and password. So let's first create a new policy in the request preflow where we extract those variables, right? So extract variables. Let's just call them query param test, because normally, of course, we wouldn't put usernames or passwords as query parameters. It's just a test case. And the actual definition is going to be as follows. So we're just going to pick up the username and password and put them in, use the user and PW parameters for those variables. Okay. So if we do this and then deploy it, then we could take a look at how things are working. So for that, oh, that was quick. So for this, of course, we need that instance that has everything pre-configured. So let's just connect to that. Via the Cloud Shell. All right, here we are. So now we can call our endpoint. So we're calling the lab 6A endpoint with query parameters user equals Joe and PW equals ABC123. And that worked. So now if we debug this environment, and we run that again, we should be able to see that request here. No. Once more. Where is our request? No, everything in place. Yeah. No transactions to display. Still got a 503. There we go. Now we went through. So it took a while to actually update stuff. And now this one should show up. Yeah, now it does. So as you can see, we get the URI here, right? So that's of course not good. And then also if we look at the target request, you can see that the username and password get set here in clear text. So what if we don't want these values to be available in clear text, but we still want them to be sent onwards to the backend service? There's a very simple change that we can make here. Okay, so if we go to the EV definition here, let's say that the username is okay, but the password we want to keep secret. Then we just prefix the password variable name with the string private dot. Okay. So now if I save this definition and then deploy it, and now it's deployed. So now if we run the same request, note that we still get back everything from the backend, right? So the backend knows that what the password and username was. So now if we start a new debug session, and we run the same command again. Oops. There it is. And we go to the proxy flow. We can see the URL over here. That's still okay. And then once we go to the query parameter test, you'd see that the password is no longer visible, even though it exists, right? It's been used, but it's just not visible here in the debug environment. So next thing what we're going to do is we're going to create a debug mask. We're going to have to use the API for that. So let's just kind of get our authentication token saved. And then we can take a look at the current debug mask, and you can see that it's currently empty. There's nothing there. So we're going to update that debug mask by adding two parts. First of all, we want to deny a variable called request header security code. So this is basically the header called security code within our request. So that's not going to be shown in the UI. And then we have the request JSON paths. So in the request, if there's a payload that is JSON, then on the root, if there is a key called cc_num, then that's not going to, the value of that is not going to be shown either. Okay, so that's what that does, and it returns back that it has successfully applied those. So this is what the debug mask looks like now. So now what is interesting here is that we first of all we need to delete the current debug session. And then we need to create a new debug session. And now if we create a request like this, where we still have the same URL otherwise, but we're in addition to that also adding a security code header with the value secret, and then a payload that has a key ccnum and then something that looks a little bit like a credit card number. And send this. Note, it still goes back to the backend. So you can see the headers here include the security code secret, and also the data contains the JSON as we sent it. But the idea was that it wouldn't show up here in our debug. So let's take a look at this, right? So it's going to be here in the proxy request flow. Started. Maybe remove this one. Yeah. So here the security code equals all stars, and then in the body the ccnum equals all stars as well, right? So it doesn't show up in the debug view, but it otherwise works totally normally. Right, thanks for this. See you in the next lab.